give this a quick chop. You can see while we're making these green onions really tiny. Alright, so what we're going to do, we have our heat on the pan. Just going to put a little splash of oil in there. And then we're going to take our cheek balls, which, like I said, are really simple recipe here. But this will gonna like drastically improve the taste of these meatballs or cheese balls. Just put them in here. Just wait for them to get like super crunchy. We'll bring our chopped green onion here. And meanwhile, while this is beautifully heating up, we're going to go ahead and just already prepare our garlic. So what we're going to do here basically is just chop this very finely. Don't need to go crazy, but we're going to just chop it really finely here. You can already see that right now they're pretty bland. Nothing really crazy going on here. However, I believe that through that we're going to put on them, seriously going to help these guys get more tasty. Go too wild, but you can see they get like some sort of color. So we do have some color here already, a little bit of coloring, because you want to get them a little crunchy first, right? On the left, you can see I'm just preparing our pasta water. So today we're going to have some spaghetti, which we're going to make really tasty. Kind of like, just don't go cheap on noodles, because cheap noodles are just like not going to cut it. Another quick toss. I just thought of an idea. I'm going to bring in a little bit of salt and pepper in a second. And some chili flakes, which I do love so much. Big jar. Water for our pasta rest. And you know, you can really go a little crazy with the salt, so I give it 2 handfuls. This is like maybe, I don't know, 2.5 handfuls. Maybe like 3 spoons. So here we go. Now they're getting nice and crunchy, just the way we want them. And what we're going to do now is basically put in our first fragrant piece of spice, and that will be the green onion, which is finely chopped. We're just going to toss it in here, and we can reduce the heat a little, because we wanted to give them a little color, but not like blackened or anything like that. So once we have that in here, then we add our chopped garlic. Put it in here. There we go. And maybe just a bit of squish of oil. See right here. And then we just let it do its thing. Now, my tip here would be to go ahead and add a little bit of spice. So this is very spicy hot pepper crushed, which is going to give it I would say maybe a tablespoon. That's all we need. And we let it also get a little toasty. So now the next step, we take a little bit of the tomato puree. You can find that anywhere, actually, every Italian supermarket. That's all you really need. And just give it like also I would say two small teaspoons. And also just give it a little heated up. This will give it a little more deepness, a little more richness for the sauce before we add our Marzano, which will ensure that we have like really good sauce and everything. And you can basically just fire away. That's all you gotta do, right? Just put them in there. Whoop. And those are peeled canned tomatoes, right? So what you gotta do is just squish them a little. and they will yield the best tomato sauce. Better than taking fresh ones, to be really honest with you, and it's like super effortless, right? You just open up the can, put it in there, and fire away. With salt and pepper for some love. And always take the real ground pepper. It doesn't make sense to try to use some crushed pepper, pre-crushed pepper, because it just doesn't have that same taste as you would want to have pepper. Seriously, like what you need. This is the thing. So, and now all you gotta do is just basically wait. So we're just gonna put in like 300 grams of noodles. Should be enough for us. And what I usually do is I give it a good stir and go in. Just like that. Give it a good stir. And what you want is a lot of water in here. So this is a pretty big pot. It's like a stock pot I have here. Now for our pasta, we want to have not just any cheese. We're going to take, it's a really nicely matured 18-month-old Parmesan cheese. Just like one of my favorites. It just gives us that taste that we're really craving for. So what I usually use is like, this is a very simple one. I like to take the fine shredded one. You could go with the thicker one, however you personally like. I prefer the fine one. It stays stringy, but it's like just perfect because it will melt right over the pasta. So what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna give it a little bit of, just a quick stroke over our grater. And you can already see, perfect. Now, one last tip. If you have a little bit of cooking wine, go ahead and ensure you have a little bit of cooking wine around. I'm just gonna do a little bit of right here. There we go. Because this will go ahead and just lift up that sauce by a third, I would say. So what I also like to do is I like to keep just a small tiny cup of our pasta water. So what I do is I take a small little coffee cup, just dump it in there, and we're almost through, just a little bit. And you add just a little bit of this pasta water to our sauce. That's all you need, you don't really need more. Just to get a little bit of that starch that is in there, get that in there and it makes it even more creamy, tasty. Let's look at what we have done. Then we're going to give it a bit of the cheese. You can see how what I meant before, right? You can see how the cheese is melting right on our pasta and on the meatballs. And what I always like to do is just give it a little hit of virgin olive oil, a little bit of pepper, and voila, this is our tasty meatball cheat ball sauce.